Hello and welcome to Diana's Makerspace on this Sunday, June 15th, 2025. Just to remind those who are watching before 2 p.m., the Kenosha Art Fair, oh, whoops, it already has passed, but there was a Kenosha Art Fair in Kenosha Union Park from 10 to 2 today. On Labor Day, there's going to be a Lake Forest Art Fair, which I and a friend go down to. Nice event. There's a Starbucks. There's other nice restaurants down there. A classic bookstore, and basically a nice place to sort of just mill around and meet people, meet new people like that. Though, well, for today's project, I'd like to talk about something I've always been thinking about is basically a universal hobbyist board. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean basically, what would happen if you could just take a board and you could take like a Z80 that's used on the Osborne One and on a Nintendo or something like that, or take a 6502 that's used on Apple II, or basically a 65816 that's used was used on uh, Apple II GS, and just put them on there. Well, this weekend I decided to do a little weekend project. This is it. On top of here, this is a 6502 with circuits basically so that it can access the upper 8K of RAM and then use the lower K RAM. So if we disassemble this, basically it has a universal bus, my own universal common bus, and this is the one with the Z80 on top of the communications and main memory module. And you can see basically, this is the completed common bus, 40 pins, because these are designed to work with 40 pin chips. Now if we take this off, just a minute. And this is the main system board. As you can see, again, a common 40 pin bus. This is a 256K flash RAM. This is an A255 port with a 138 chip that allows you to select up to 8 ports with four control channels. So basically on this design, you'll have 16 ports, or you can modify so you have 32 ports with 3 control channels. But basically I'm making this with 4 control channels, so basically nibble. So the lower nibble is the control channels, the upper nibble is the device ID. So basically just to make the programming simple so you don't have to shift in there though. As you can see, there's a flash drive. And what happened was, this is all soldered. Like that, I think I've improved upon my soldering since last time. And another thing I noticed in making this is that basically when you make this, this gave me some ideas even for wire lab projects, because normally I try to buy long headers like this from different places. I'm limited as to what the chip size is. So what I've learned now is by actually buying headers and then soldering them, I can actually make any type of headers, and also at a cheaper cost. So actually this part can be actually wire lapped like that though. And what happens? So basically, I got an idea on how to do wire lab projects better like that as well, like that though. So that's something else I'm going to do like that. Because I was working on one wire lab project and it's having a little difficulty. So now basically I can start to do it basically, and that though for 40 pin chips and for wide 22 pin chips like that, like basically that's what's used in Arduino with the multi-port chip. So now what the idea of this is simply, let's say you want to try a 6502 project or 65816 project. Okay, here's the module. What you do is just take the module and we just put it on and just put it like you do every other chip. And there you go, and it's right on there, and it's all ready to go like that. Or let's say you want to do a Z80 project. Okay, plug it on there, and what happens is, because of the common bus architecture, this will allow you to put any 40 pin chip on here. So far I made it for the Z80 6502. I'm also going to make it for the 65816 as well. That's coming next in that though. Now with the 6502 and certain 40-bit chips, what happens, they load the upper memory or lower memory. So what happens, this additional circuitry allows you to specify whether to load the upper memory or lower memory, as well as also what part of memory is going to be shared. Like on this one, on 6502 series chips, I'm going to have the 8K of memory from E00 to FFF being shared with X in front of those if you have memory systems that bank switch or have higher capacity. So you can actually have a common BIOS, a common LOM, like common BDOS like that though. And the other thing why I put sockets in here is what I like the idea when the Osborne one was designed that it had sockets, because you can take the chips out and take it out. And another reason why I like sockets is I was raised in a family where basically my parents worked on the old space program. My dad was a civilian contractor for NASA. My grandfather was a civilian contractor for the Los Alamos project, and they like sockets because in those days they also used tubes, and tubes basically were all, and it's common for many people that had tube TVs and tube radios and things, and even musicians, they had tube amplifiers. They used to carry an extra set of tubes with them because when musicians would play at a concert and someone would do like a big lift or something, and basically the power systems that where they're playing weren't up to spec to keep up with it, and the tube would blow. Well, rather than cancel a concert, they just take a break, wait for the amplifier to come down, to cool down, and they put a new tube in and restart again. And that's why this has sockets, because basically this way it's interchangeable. And what happens, so you can put a 6502 on here, 65816 on here, or another 40-pin chip to use up and low memory with this and connect it to a common bus. So let me show you what it looks like when we put one system together. Now this is what it looks like when we put one system together. This is a 6502 that's plugged into the main communications board. Now if you look underneath, see there's plenty of air room for it to cool. In a way, it looks like a garage like that. It looks like a house with a garage on it, and then you have another house on the side. So, and this is, I still call this my sandwich design, because basically you can stack up like this, or basically if you want to, you can even stack it like this. And I'm trying to do something with these connectors here, so it could connect into a bus and that though, so you can actually stack it this way. For this, I think this is a great way how to, I'm going to try this to see what I can do with my hobbyist things with Z80 and the 6502 series and other 40-bit chips, as well as the 8051 and the 8085. Now, what happens, what I did was I put the Z80 module on here. Now, this is a Z84, a CMOS version, a newer generation of the Z80. But the other thing is I could use this for other Z80 modules. There's a Z180, Z280, Z380. Just change the mount on here and then keep the common bus. And that's the nice thing about this hobbyist design that I made. So basically, I made it so it's just plug and play. You can just put it in, and basically, and then this is the standard communications board. Another board I'm planning to make with this is an I2C board. So basically, we can have retro devices communicate with an I2C board, so you can do I2C, so you can do communications back and forth between different IoT projects. Now, as you can see, this is how it looks, the Z80. Now, let me give you a frame of reference to show you how big it is. This is a bus pass that I use, and this is the size of the card. So this is 5 centimeters by 7 centimeters. Very, very effective, very good to work with. And look at how small this is. So basically, you can put this like in anything. And then this is how it looks in the back. What happens? You could say just started doing this. Just started doing a mock-up. I'm going to do one in KiCad where you can have a full PCB board. But I like to do mock-ups. So because I'm a visual person. I like to see what it looks like, and also I also like to feel. So as an artist, I like to feel and see. So um, and the common bus. Well, you may notice that today basically I'm dressed casually. When I'm not going out, I start just dressed casually. I'm sort of in my pajamas today, and with my Barbie collection, my Barbies are in the pajamas as well. So if like a female version of Hugh Hefner, sort of just when at home, just dressed casual in pajamas and bathrobe. But when I do go upstairs and pick up my mail, I am fully dressed in that though, because it is important basically that if you live in an apartment building, when you go outside your apartment, make sure you're fully dressed because some people may become very sensitive. But at home, you can dress whatever way you wish. Well, let me know what you think. The best way to reach me, as I mentioned, is on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Pinterest. Well, this has been Diana's Makerspace introducing the Kaneki Hobbyist Plug and Play board, and with the Z80 modules, Z80 series modules, and the 6502 series modules with other modules to come. I'm planning to put this in production soon. I'm going to first make a PCB board, and then I'll put a link out, and then just then I'll try to make it as a kit. Well, this has been Diana's Makerspace, and thank you for watching.